Hello guys, welcome to the first video for solving two-step equations. In part one, we're going to look at whole numbers. Just to review, we need to look at a couple of problems. In part A, it says solve for x, and I have negative 24 equals negative 4x. Well, whenever we see the word solve for a variable, we need to think inverse operations. And remember that inverse means opposite. Since this is negative 4 times x, I want to do the opposite of times, which is divide. So I'm going to put the divide sign here, negative 4. Remember that this is a fraction bar, which means to divide. Negative 24 divided by negative 4 is negative 6 equals x. Okay, so the inverse of divide is inverse of multiply is divide, and vice versa. Here I have 4 plus v equals 9. Now this is a deceptive problem because there's a plus here, but I'm actually going to subtract because this is a positive 4. So I want to think the opposite of positive is subtract. So I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. 9 minus 4 is 5 equals v. So whenever we have positive or addition, we subtract. Whenever we have subtraction or negative, we add. And over here, whenever we have multiplication or division, we do the opposite of that. Alright, let's look at a two-step equation now. Okay, here's an example of a two-step equation, which means we're going to do two inverse operations. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to identify some key terms. This is my constant. And this is my variable term, or this is my coefficient of my variable term. So step one will be to cancel the constant term. And this is accomplished. Oops. It should be cancel the constant. Which is done by adding or subtracting. So here, my constant term is 12, and it's subtraction, so I want to do the inverse. So I'm going to add 12 to both sides. So I end up with 2w equals 22. The next thing I want to do is cancel my coefficient. Which is going to be to multiply or divide. So here I have multiply, so the inverse, this is multiply, so the inverse is divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And it's really important that we use this notation so that we don't get confused by anything about what we're doing. 2 divided by 2 just leaves me w. 22 divided by 2 gives me 11. So here my answer is w equals 11. And when we think of the word cancel, we need to think of the idea of undoing the work. So undo the constant. So undo whatever operation's happening there. Alright, let's look at the next example here. It says part A, solve for x, and here I have x divided by 5 minus 8 equals 25. Well, I have minus 8, so the first thing I want to do is cancel the constant. So I'm going to add 8 to both sides. (25) plus 8 is 37. Excuse me, 33. Equals x divided by 5. And now since this is division, I want to cancel it by multiplying it by 5 over 1. These cancel by 5 over 1. So I get x equals 33 times 5, which is 165. Okay, so remember to cancel the constant by adding or subtracting, and then cancel the coefficient.